And the cereal of champions, Wheaties, puts pictures on the box of great athletes. Because, for some bizarre reason, it's beyond me, they have found, through practice, they have proven that people will buy their cereal if it has a picture of their favorite athlete on it. Last January, they had 2 boxes all ready to go to fill up with Wheaties. One box had the picture of the team that won. The other box had the picture of the team that lost. Now, I can well understand how the team that lost disgraced itself. I can well understand how the team that lost was involved in some type of scandal, let's say had accepted a payoff or something to lose, why those boxes would have been ditched. But what I don't understand is why the American people would not have bought the cereal with a box of the losers on it. They played the best they could, didn't they? They didn't disgrace themselves, did they? I mean, they tried, didn't they? No, that's not Wheaties' fault. Wheaties knows you won't buy it. It's your fault. Although you'd like to blame it on Wheaties, I'm sure. But they know that you wouldn't buy it. And they know that there's enough of brain-damaged consumers out there who will go out and buy Wheaties even though they don't like them, just because it has the picture of the winning team. Unbelievable. Sharon in Tampa. Hi, Sharon. You're on the air at WFLA.
I think that now, you see, I just got out of the military service, and I've been around the world, and I've seen the other nations. And my own personal view is if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. If there,
love it or leave it, Greg?
Yes, exactly.
Get off my phone, you jerk.
But I'm trying to say that this is how a kid started out in sports when he's 5 years old. And it's just not a good example, I don't think. I don't know. And there's nobody you can go to because you have to go to the board, and these are the same people who are making the rules. So how can you can't complain or nothing. There's nobody to complain to.
Well, I have no great problem with having 2 teams, a varsity and a junior varsity, or whatever you might want to call it.
All your leagues in Pinellas County are that way. Every single one of them.
Well, you know, I'm 42 years old, and I'm going back now to 30 years ago. 30 years ago this month. One of the most tragic events in my life. Something that literally formed me for the rest of my life. It's a long story. I'm not going to tell the entire story.
Why?
But it's called Little League Baseball. Yeah. And you see, where I grew up, we had majors and minors, and I never went out for Little League Baseball until I was 12 years old, my last year for eligibility. Mm-hmm. And I missed the ball that they threw to me to determine whether I would go to the majors or the minors, and I went to the minors. But hey, that was fine with me. I mean, man, it was a baseball team, and you got a hat, and you got to play, and they sold hot dogs, and people came and cheered. That didn't make any difference. I was delighted with that, and I practiced with a team all spring long, and I was the catcher, and nobody else wanted to be the catcher until the day before the season started. And the day before the season started, some other kid showed up who wanted to be a catcher, and he was a hell of a lot better than me. I was fat, and I couldn't run, and I couldn't hit, and I couldn't catch. But, God, I loved baseball. I still love baseball. I mean, if I was driving home tonight and a group of kids called me over and said, "Hey, Bob, you want to play some baseball with us?" I'd stop the car and pull over and play baseball with them because I loved it. Mm-hmm. And they had some silly rules in my town, and the town said you can only have 15 kids on the team. You can't have 16, only 15. And it wouldn't have made a damn bit of difference to me if they'd given me a hat and I sat on the bench for every miserable game they played and never took a swing. Wouldn't have made any difference to me at all, because I'd have been part of the team. Mm-hmm. And they cut me. And what they did that day is they created the monster that you're forced to listen to. They created the rebel. They created the cynic. And it made no difference except to these idiot adults and the idiot people who showed up to watch, who wanted to watch the best kids in Collingswood, New Jersey play on the Carl's Camera baseball team.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But
and it changed my life, and if I ever run into the miserable son of a bitch, Mr. Simpson, who cut me from that team, I'd kick him in the crotch.
But don't you think that has a lot to do with how the kids are being brought up? I mean, these coaches have these kids from the time they're 5 to the time they go to high school. Parents, I mean, they cuss, they swear, they roll on the ground. What kind of example are they? I mean, and right away you're junior varsity, so you're not equal. Them kids play just as hard as the same kid who started the same day. We're not talking about high school now. We're talking about youth sports, where their motto is good sportsmanship. we don't want you here to win. We're here to teach you good sportsmanship. Well, it's not. It's bull crap.
Yes, it is.
The whole thing's bull crap, and I think somebody one day should do a true story on youth sports. To go sit in the stands, some of these youth units, when they don't know nobody's looking, and they cost. We got a lawyer in our league. He sends his son to beat everybody up, and you better not say nothing because he's a lawyer. Why? He comes over and he threatens my son. My son's going to beat you up, and he's going to do this and that. You can't do nothing because he's a lawyer. What are you going to do? I'm not stupid. He's going to have me in court the next day for assault. So you got to take his abuse day and night, because you don't dare say anything.
We're weird people. Mel, I thank you very much.
Okay.
Bill in Newport Richie. Hi, Bill. You're on the air, WFLA.
Good morning, Bob. One of them was Fidel Castro.
Really?
Yeah.
I know Dan Rather was another one.
Bob, those 2 tickets to the medieval fair, is that 2 passes to the Liz Richards show?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay. Bob, what I was, you're talking about...
Doesn't require tickets, just guts.
Hey, she did pretty good yesterday, seriously.
Uh-huh.
Well, it wasn't that bad. It created a lot of controversy in the area. Got everybody steamed up. But anyways, Bob, this morning I happened to watch the coach for Switzerland. He was on television, the Swiss skiing coach.
Yeah.
I came right out and asked him, what's wrong? Since Billy Kidd was a top skier, I think he got the last medal we got, and he just won a bronze medal in the downhill. But he come right out and said, what it is dollars and cents. It's the money. The money isn't here in this country for professional skiers. Where in Switzerland and Italy and other countries, skiing is considered a profession over there. And it's a highly sponsored profession.
I guess you don't know too many skiers. A lot of skiers here consider it a profession, too. I'm not so sure how valid what the man has to say is because, he's a professional skier.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he's got to argue with his people for money, too.
But they don't have that drive since they were children. They were raised around skiing all their lives. It's a tradition with them. Here, skiing is a rich man's sport. Right, exactly right. They had I think his name is Palma, the Italian skier who won the 2 gold medals.
Yeah.
His father's a millionaire.
Right.
He's been a social skier. That's been his whole life since he was a child, just going from country to country skiing. He said he skied on every slope in Europe.
Well, I appreciate that, but also, there's one additional thing. He was skiing for Italy, who has not a hell of a lot else going for it, you know what I mean?
Rock.
They don't have any great army anymore, not much of a navy. The economy is a disaster. The government's a disaster. Well, they got skiers.
Right.
And it's important to them. It's not important to us.
Well, they don't have a lot of divers. We got a lot of divers over here. A lot of divers out of the Florida area. But, Bob, anyways, what I was going to say, it's really financial. It really is. Until the United States gets in a position where they're going to support the athletes. The average parents cannot support these children as they're raising them, going through an athletic program. It's almost financially impossible on the average family.
Well, I don't know if you were around a little bit earlier for my analogy about, Bob Lassiter, the great luge, whatever the hell it is.
Did you see the double, by the way, Bob?
No, I didn't.
That's where the man lays on top of the other man and goes down?
Well, as soon as they have mixed doubles, then maybe I'll get interested. But we talk about privatizing the Olympics. Bull. No way.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just doesn't mean enough to us. Mm-hmm. My friend, I must move along, but I thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
Here is our very own copper medalist, Webb.
We'll do better next year,
no Olympics next year.
Well,
you of all people would have known that.
Next year in competition, know that in 1984 I was a proud member of the Jamaican bobsled team, and we did win the copper medal, and I'm damn proud of it. It hangs in my office right now.
The Jamaican bobsled
team. We did damn well. And if we'd have been competing up at Calgary this year, we'd have done well. I still remember Sarajevo and her sister Edie Yavo.
Yes. Yeah, well, let's not talk about that on the air. We can both get in trouble.
Boy, can we. Hey, what we're going to talk about today at 4 o'clock?
I have the vaguest idea. What do you mean, do I know what you're going to talk about?
Well,
do I look like a mind reader?
I saw that on your resume.
I don't have a resume. I've never even filled out an application.
Well, then that might be the guy that they're interviewing for your job. There was a resume on your desk.
Son of a gun.
What we're going to talk about are the atomic veterans, Bobby. These are the guys that from 1946 through 1962 were used by the military as human guinea pigs. Many of them, as you know, are dying of cancer, leukemia, and other diseases.
Horrible stories.
Horrible stories. And the Supreme Court ruled yesterday that they are not allowed to sue private industries for their injuries.
Nor the government.
Nor the government.
Just have to eat it.
That's sad.
It's beyond sad. It's obscene.
And that's what we're going to talk about this afternoon at 4 o'clock.
When we talk about things in this country like morality, letting those people suffer is immoral. Taking your clothes off has nothing to do with morality.
Hey, they're caught between a rock and a hard place. They're ordered as soldiers to participate in this experiment.
Or
right?
lied to.
Lied to. They said that it was completely harmless. You put these glasses on or something and that you were completely safe. Nothing was going to happen to you. And 20, 25, 30 years later, they're dropping like flies. And then the government just kind of like tries to do what a dog does after it poops, just cover it up with sand. Like, oh, well, that's just the way it goes. We're going to talk about that at 4 o'clock because I'm angry about that.
Ought to be. Thank you, Ted.